execute fast.
It does.
Laning stage-wise, Windrun obviously very good against the fires.
Yeah, I think this is the one exception to your rule. Normally, I think when you see it into the Husker, it is a pretty fine solution. It still does relatively fine. It's not as crazy as the old days when you have, Whirlwind on top and just scale like crazy on the Wind Ranger. But again, the threat on lane here for Niku, it's going to be high pressure. Just having that kill shot potential means that you playing on the fine line, that fine edge here in the Husker in lane, can get punished really easily by Laurel. I guess the one thing for Niku is that rune control is not too important. A lot more important, of course, for Laurel to have that mana, to get that win run if need be, and the power shot if the opportunity presents itself. And, it shouldn't be too hard for him to kind of take at least the bounty rune each time, maybe deny off the other, to prevent 3 top-ups here for Niku. We shall see the lane already feeling rather awkward every single time you keep walking up the course. Of course, that power shot comes in. You have a lot of output coming out here from Laurel already. The right-click poke, not to be underestimated on the Wind Ranger early on as well. And that does kind of simplify the start. Again, for a matchup that does feel pretty darn good for the Wind Ranger overall.
Absolutely. Quick reconnections coming out here from Na'Vi. Not too long of a wait. With, of course, bottom lane as well. You're seeing your Torrent, Poshgred, and Science and PMA. And I mean, so far, I'd imagine that things should be pretty good for Yotoro. PMA, if he can sustain himself throughout this lane with this double shield crash. Rubik, obviously, John, I always have my questions regarding this hero. It's some games it looks incredible, most games look fairly flat.
Yeah, and this is not a game that feels incredible for the Rubik, right? Like, you'd want to steal some big spells. It's very difficult to see that happening when you're playing into a silencer. Even if you do steal a spell, as long as Miposhka's around, spamming Arcane Curse, spamming Last Word, it can be rather annoying for the Rubik to try to find that positioning here, to grab a spell and get some utility out. The lane as well for PMA is not going to feel amazing. He's doing a fine job early on, but once you get some levels up there, level 2, 3, 4, you start getting points in Jingu, that threat starts to really materialize for the Monkey King, especially as the brown boots come in. And that's where we normally see the Monkey King start to crush. Having a lane that you're reliant on spamming out as well with a shield crash and swash up against the silencer is not going to feel amazing for PMA. And we've talked about this with Na'Vi. If PMA has a slower game, it can feel like their entire tempo is thrown off. Mind you, this time around, I expect that tempo to come out from Niku. So some of that pressure on PMA's kind of removed at the least, but you'd still want to see a decent enough diffusal timing here on the Pangolier if possible.
Yeah, certainly so. How's that top lane go? Not too much. Oh, hold on a minute, PMA. Damage here from Miposhka. Silencer in the laning stage, never very much fun to go up against. Those Zayats lift back onto Miposhka, and the swashbuckle double shield. Will they still have enough? Seeing the opening here on Miposhka, and they do secure first block.
Managed to clip out, just a little bit too aggressive coming in there in Miposhka, trying to poke out, buy some space for Yato, and wasn't really connected to the monkey to try to capitalize. So some good punishment coming out there from Na'Vi, and again, it's important for PMA kind of get that start, to try to get that build up into that diffusal blade we've been talking about. Still taking gander on the mid lane, of course. Again, this lane is not really simplifying by any means for Niku. He is able to stand through a lot more. He's got level 4 up quicker than Laurel has. And Laurel is forced to just maximize wind run just to have that uptime up against the Husker with burning spears. At least he didn't have to worry about too much kill shot here. Up top, lots of poking and prodding, but he had a lot of simple ways to deal with Got the Juice and that refraction. But there is some good damage here for Got the Juice if you're not too careful, though he also has to respect just the output of the Brewmaster at level 3. With a level 2 Cinder Brew, with an easy Ignite from, say, Shadow Realm coming in, there's a heck lot of poke that can come out here from Team Spirit without committing too much here.
No, they're certainly not worried about any refraction charges here from Got the Juice, that's for sure. Definitely Collapse going to be having himself a really, really good landing stage, I think, here on the Brewmaster. Not too much they can do about it. Got the Juice is going to try and secure his own farm and get into the jungle. Once it does get a little bit too difficult, and it should start to get difficult soon, because I believe we are going to see Collapse rushing the Urn build, which, yeah, fairly standard, but it is just, once you have the Urn up and you get some charges up, it can be pretty devastating to have to try and lane against, and there you go. I don't think Got the Juice is going to want to be here too much longer if they do give a charge away.
No, and there's not too much you can do here on Riddies either. He's been trying to use that melee advantage up against Collapse quite nicely, trying to get max value from the Shadow Wave. It's just that it's also shoving out the lane pretty darn hard. At least their camp on the right side is opened up, so they have some pulls to play with. Not too much that you can do on the route to counteract. And, all you can do is try to buy that space out for Got the Juice. Still a little bit slower for him overall in the lane. You are getting a lot of value out from Collapse. And again, in comparison to what Yatoro is getting down bot, doesn't even compare right now for the TA. Gonna have to rely on that camp clearing later on to get that timing with the Desolator and the Dragonlance, plus the Blink or BKB that you tend to see from the TA before it gets fully comfy. Down bot, some troll shenanigans coming in from PMA, just wanting to soak. Again, it's that threat up now from Yatoro. He's got ground boots, he's got level 2 Jingu. It's not a lane that you can just stand in on the Pangolier and safely farm, try to rely on the shield crash. The threat is getting pretty darn high, so you do have to just play it safe, soak up. There is room for Zayats to try to make a move in a little bit early, half a minute until the power rune. But they can start to kind of set up for at least some of these objectives and start to deny it away from Laurel if possible later on.
Already a bit of a chase top lane. You want to find a kill, you want those initial charges here for Collapse, but they're not really giving the opener for Na'Vi. Collapse, he'll be alright though, just continuing the farm. He's queued up a miner, so probably intending on just having a bit of a farmy game for a little bit. I am looking to secure a 6-minute power rune. Does get lucky here for Niku. Haste rune up, and Niku immediately knowing Miposhka's there, wants to try for a kill. Should be an easy one. Life break is there, of course. Miposhka do nothing.
Just gonna have to fall down. Nice pickup for Niku, setting himself up nicely after, again, a little bit more back and forth in mid. Not a lane that you're crushing on the Husker as you would expect up against the Wind Ranger. It's not a lane that just shut down the mid. You are doing a good job of denying, and I think that's the big advantage Niku does have. A little bit slower in the EXP game here for Laurel, but 6 is still coming in. Will have that value point in the focus fire if he wish. Nothing like a javelin early on, kind of boost that damage output up just yet. And that is one of the things, again, with Wind Ranger. They have severely kind of taken away her damage potential in comparison. The kill shot's great. Down bot though.
Yeah, PMA certainly going to be going down. Yatoro happy to take his life away, and Miposhka is also there for his +1 in. Always happy to be around for that.
Yeah, of course. It starts to ramp up. You can never underestimate once that ball gets rolling here for the Silencer. And it's going to be pretty painful for the side of Na'Vi to lose a lot of int. So you always have to be aware of where that Silencer is, if the debuffs are coming in, if they find a kill, they do have that burst damage. We've heard the panel talking about it. You've got enough physical burst in the Monkey King anyhow to kind of get things done. And you have some good connections with the kill shot later on that you have to be concerned about. A nice movement across the gate here from the side of Team Spirit, looking for some after up top. But the side of Na'Vi has already pulled back a fair bit. They're not even showing in the lane. It's like what you were talking about. Got the Juice has to hit that jungle up himself. He's got to get that build up. He has to play it safe. And that's going to be a very quick tower if they want to commit early on from the side of Team Spirit.
We're going to be a little bit careful though. Collapse in the squad, kind of having a look around. Yatoro is hunting that northern side jungle. We'll lead back down to the bottom lane. Meanwhile, mid, it looks like there might be a small group up here, but just for the aim of the power rune, Zayat will stick around. Lol will get lucky, but amp damage picked up for the Wind Ranger. Not sure if he's going to be able to find it, but really so sure that they don't have the issues. That's on the top lane. Could be in a bit of danger, but they don't seem to want to really dive T1s. But that's also fair, because you know the Husker's got a TP, really. You don't really want to force the fight into that right now if you can.
No. They also don't have Yatoro hanging out any longer. He goes back to the gate, just goes back to farming for that movement. Maybe waste a little bit of time. The side of Na'Vi going to be happy enough to keep some space up while that happens. Kind of get that build up. They do have a nice ward that did watch the gate usage out anyhow. So they are keeping themselves informed. I would say this kind of start for Na'Vi isn't exactly the start you're looking for. Again, you have a lane for the Husker that it's not really crushing in. You still have this armlet timing lining up, at the least for Niku to play off of. And you are getting some room out for PMA to hit that diffusal timing in a timely manner. So there are still some decent spikes coming out for Na'Vi. And the side of Spirit, I mean, they're not going to push the envelope. Like you were talking about, you're getting that Midas up in Collapse. He wants to go for a slower game. You're getting steady farm out from Laurel. Still has in the bottle and is going to go into the classic Nail build. Javelin first, damage output for himself. I think the passive game does feel a lot better for Spirit. And the scaling that you're hitting with the Monkey King, this potential disruptiveness of Collapse on a Beastmaster or a Brewmaster that can be allowed to go into the Radiance just freely is a massive threat. Like, the Radiance bring alone onto God the Juice will simplify that kill on the TH by a fair big margin. Give you miss chances on something like the Husker can be quite annoying to contend with already, as you're also having to deal with the Wind Ranger. So you take this slow on Team Spirit, you're going to be happy. You're going to hit all your resource spikes. Na'Vi aren't really getting too much out in terms of the efficiency either. Again, this timing for them, it's the Diffusal on PMA, it's the Dragonlance, Desolator, plus BKB on God the Juice, and that's where you start running.
Gonna jump through, but he does go for the immediate Shadow Realm TP out. Shadow does end up spawning bottom, so Niku will have a Shield Rune if he wants it. He wouldn't really care for it at the moment though, just a Shield Rune. Would rather start pressuring the T1 mid tower if he can. He's got a sentry there, so he may not stop. He might just keep going with this. TP to try and ensure they cannot continue. You've got through there as well. Meanwhile, bottom, PMA barely able to TP away. Mid lane, they are still pursuing the T1 mid, but Niku decided better off it. I mean, it is very scary because if you get into that HP threshold for the execute, it's not going to be a hard kill for Lal. But Niku goes back for the Shield Rune, gets his armlet up now, and maybe with the armor you feel a little bit safe.
That you ought to. A little bit more output coming out there for Niku, of course. Again, it's been fairly static outside of that HP pickup here. Focused in, just working his lane, getting some farm, getting these timings. The BKB's coming out next for our Husker. Again, for Na'Vi, this does allow that spike into these items. The Diffusal for PMA, just a recipe away, considering all the space he's gotten down bot. Gonna be something to play off of once that is up and running. It does look like they are just going to go for the Radiance build on Yatoro, so that will it looks like we're going to maybe get double Radiance up, which is kind of fine with the Monkey King Brewmaster. They do work different parts of the fight. I don't mind that too much, even if it's maybe slightly awkward. It does make enough sense with how you want kind of work the front and back line with these two different heroes. And again, there's no contest for either one to play greedy like this. Like double Radiance with this kind of farm pace, you're kind of happy. And they switch it up. Yatoro just goes back to the Maelstrom. You're just gonna go for a little bit more standard in Monkey King, which is fair enough as well. And you have a lot of options. There's no pressure. You can play the farm game. And again, for Na'Vi, it feels like you would want to start playing fast soon, right? Like you've got the Husker Dazzle combination. You do kind of want to really slow down inside of Team Spirit relatively soon. Maybe just wanting that debuff immunity up first for Niku.
I think you need that. I mean, it's just too scary into the amount of disable they've got on Team Spirit. There's no way you're going to be able to just stand there and fight without a BKB here for Niku, so they'll at least wait that one out. I think as long as they're getting the farm up, they won't mind the slow pace of the game too much. But you do have a TA. Timing's going to be roughly 20-25 minutes. Mid lane, Niku. Gonna get jumped. Zayats will be there anyway. The maze, and yeah, not too much action right now. I mean, 13 minutes in, 1-2. Both teams just trying to secure that farm for the mid game. And in fairness, both drafts again are going to be very mid game oriented. You're looking at roughly 20 minutes.
But I'd say maybe you could start to get some action going by 15-16, depending on the timings of the initial items, right? Like the Radiance for Collapse not too far off. That's what Maelstrom's running now on Yatoro. Maybe you wait out at least the Hyperstone or getting super aggressive on that Monkey. Other side of Na'Vi, the Fusel's just about done on PMA. Again, BKB still 2 parts off here for Niku, a little bit more work to put in. There has been a lot of space, I forgot the Juice, who that's so only about 1,100 gold away into the blink. So things are starting to ramp up towards probably 17 to 20, like we were saying there, Mike, in terms of looking for that opening. Collapse, though, is set to go. Does TP down bot, maybe could want to make a play. They are going out with a smoke, and that is the Radiance. Could be a nice swing around for the Shrine of Wisdom here if they get their timing right.
I mean, Collapse, he had the Midas queued up the whole game, but he was just free farming so much. It's like, why am I going Midas? I just go Radiant straight away, and obviously works out for him. Is they're going to find PMA. PMA will drop. In Spirit, they'll pick up the Shrine of Wisdom, and they'll move into that bottom T1 tower while they're at it.
Don't really have to commit too much for that either. Just a nice quick rotation. Another charge of Brain Drain out from Miposhka. That is a pretty big target to take when you're playing this low. Taking the core for free, getting some space out for yourself, maybe even finding the subjective on top. Could be a very happy state for the side of Team Spirit for Na'Vi. And the blessing in disguise here is just how free this game is for God to use. Still farming up the Storm, so managing to get a lot going here on that TA. Still top of net worth with the Desolator flying in. Just need to find the opportunity to maybe start to get more especially as the blink starts to approach, you'd want to take that fight. You'd want to take a pick off or maybe a pick off or two into Roshan, and that's where the ball starts rolling for Na'Vi if they can find these opportunities. Roshan would not take long at this point with a Huskar on hand as well, but it's always at risk, like we talked about. So much control. You want to have a BKB first, and have to sit and wait. A little bit of a smoke out though, and they will drag Got the Juice in for this one. Maybe start to get some early Deso charges up if they can find something here.
I'd love to. Nobody's going to be up at this top lane, however. Bait with the TA if they can.
Radiant
the Juice might just approach the T1
attack.
tower, apply a bit of pressure, and see if somebody's going to come up to defend. Doesn't really seem like he wants to risk it though. He'll look to retreat, so no kills to happen top. Spirit focused on the mid lane with the siege creep timing. Doesn't really feel like Na'Vi's prepared to try and defend. Instead, they're trying to look towards Yatoro now, who has shown up.
Dire's middle tower
It's currently standing in a tree with that tree jumping, or rather the tree dance. And that is one really nice ability to have, I guess, as Xayah. It's just being able to give all this vision to your team, and it's been an absolute nuisance across the map.
Yep.
But they aren't going to find any. It's still 2 to 2:16 minutes in. On the right side of Na'Vi, got the Juice, popped the net worth board, but Yatoro, he's really not that far behind. He's having a great old time. He's far more spread, of course, now with the full Mjolnir up.
Yeah. And I think, again, for Na'Vi, the key thing is starting to get that value in on your TA once that blink is up. That shoulder line with a BKB being finished up here on Niku, you need to make a move at that point. You want to take a kill into Roshan. You want to start to apply some pressures on these tier 1s that 16 minutes in are still pretty healthy on the side of Team Spirit, except for that mid. Now the relatively healthy across the board. They start to take some map space away, or you're not really able to get that done just yet on Na'Vi. In fact, their triangle is the one being scouted out by Collapse. I mean, again, it's a lot of patience, it's a lot of waiting for these key items to be up. But once those items are up, again, it feels like the pressure's on Na'Vi. Right? Like, it feels like their spikes are more sensitive. They're the ones that kind of needs to play around these early item spikes better, because there is a little bit of a timer with this combination. Right? There are ways to counteract it. You have really good scaling out from Team Spirit. You've got the global silence to bail you out every single time. And eventually, if this game will drag on even longer, you know, the potential for, say, silencer refresh becomes bigger and bigger. Maybe a refresh as well down the line for Collapse with his own BKB way later on. Just a lot of teamfight utility that, again, doesn't really simplify the game for Na'Vi if they just choose to keep holding out like this, and you'll eventually reach that point on Team Spirit where the ease of execution, again, is maybe a little bit easier here.
Looks like it right now. And smoke from Spirit, Yatoro and Maposhka. Trying to connect with the mid lane. They've got the Juice, does avoid the shackle setup from Lal. Perhaps unable to really break the gap to lock him down either. Yatoro and Maposhka now going towards the north. They'll try for the top lane. We'll run into Zayat. Zayat's going to kind of reveal himself though with that free dance, and it's going down. Yatoro, he'll get something for his drop.
Nice little chop there from Yatoro, seeing that jump away. Not the big score in the world. You're happy enough to get a freebie, considering how slow this game has been. You do have that full blink up now for PMA, so we can see if he can start to find the angles in the back. This is something PMA has been really good at. Very disruptive once he has that blink up with a rolling thunder. Just that the opportunities aren't really showing themselves. If Na'Vi wants to farm, Team will farm even better. And that's what we're seeing. I mean, BKB, which is the recipe got a Juice. Do have your full complements up on Niku. Maybe consider some armor now if you wanted, just to protect against the Monkey King and Wind Ranger. But maybe you're not even concerned as long as you have your Dazzle playing with you. Not be that much of an issue for Niku later on. Scaling up as well here on Laurel. Ags up. The invisibility is going to be a bit of a nuisance.
They know the Huskers are on top. Got the Juice. Will get the Shallow Brave out. It's pretty early on though, so got the Juice. He needs some help ASAP. Holding the back. Move on to really instead of the Dazzle. They'll at least find a kill for their drop. Not the big one they were hoping for, but they'll get some.
That gets the ball rolling just a bit. That is the split committed, but you also managed to force out that roll from PMA. And again, you're getting some room out. You are forcing the TA kind of reset, look for a different part of the map, slow down that BKB timing just a tad bit. I'd say for Na'Vi, again, it's not the ideal, I think, what we're seeing out from them in terms of their timing. And now just wait for that BKB timing on Got the Juice. Perhaps that's when you start to feel a little bit more confident in what you can get done here. But these spikes from Team Spirit, man, it's starting to get concerning. It's going to be the Shiva's next for collapse. Got that BKB as well, lining up for Yato. You've got the GS to back that up as well. You're not going to have the control to kind of keep him down until you hit maybe something like the Axe timing here on Niku, which is a long way off. One of the slower games we've seen just here on the Esports World Cup, Mikey.
Heat up, it's gone. There's a lot on the line for either side. Like they are trying to fight Spirit obviously are the ones fighting for it right now because they're one game ahead. Na'Vi just trying to draw out another series and keep that first place spot tied if they possibly can.
Tower has fallen.
What about sending a message as well for Na'Vi? I mean, it's the confidence you're gonna feel if you can at least force a draw up against a team like Spirit. In these groups will be massive going into the next stages. Roshan being Roshan, come on now. Monster Got the Juice will get his BKB off in time, and Lol's being targeted. Lol, he's still gonna get Got the Juice though. The trade. Here comes Niku. He'll make the jump in onto the dark window. Who is down? Yatoro, he'll pop the window. Command Niku. He cannot fight within that. Riddies was not around for the Shallow Grave either. He Shallow Grave himself in the end, but it's not going to matter. He'll go down to collapse. So continue the chase now onto Zayat. Zayat eventually should also be joining his fallen comrades. They will pick him off to boot. It's a 4-for-2 special. You kind of saw the weakness of this Husker. Like you need Got the Juice to survive these fights to try and deal with Yatoro, because it just doesn't seem like Niku can kind of maintain himself in that loop.
That's not right. That's not right. Right outside of the position he'd want to be. Doesn't have the highest level on Shallow Grave yet, so it's a little bit harder to kind of try to maximize it. And you kind of need that positioning to be coming out here on the side of Na'Vi. That combination is your bread and butter at this point. Not getting you down there, don't hold you back. That means, again, you don't have the tempo to take Roshan. Control in this game now is heading fully to Team Spirit. 5K lead.
Showing up on the line of safety with their beautiful bout of Yatoro. Takes them both down. Giants, Niku trying to run. They're going to try and force the fight. I think he can have it. Pop his BKB. Needs to get out. No running this time. It's PMA. We'll at least try to roll out of there. And Team Spirit was thinking about just diving the Tier 3s. They will not, but it's going to be another 4-man wipe from Spirit.
I mean, they just get going. Once they have this confidence come in as well for Team Spirit, there's just not much stopping them. And again, it's almost the same issue that we saw from Na'Vi in the last game. How are you going to start these fights? Because they're so reliant on just going in with Niku and playing with his Dazzle combination, maybe getting a good roll out from PMA. It's just easier said than done when you have a lot of things to worry about. But the Global Silence being there, all this output now from Yatoro, from the free farm, having that full Mjolnir. Him having BKB hurts the side of Na'Vi massively. In fact, the Na'Vi BKBs don't feel as much of a big deal as long as you time it right. And again, it's just, there's no stopping the Monkey King. They allowed Yatoro to just farm a little bit too much. That's never that slow. That's them taking another fight at great
BKB was already committed. He's going to try for collapse. His command was down. Collapse in a lot of trouble, but he's just so tanky. They actually PMA, he'll jump in as well, but Collapse is not going down. In fact, he'll turn around now. They're looking to reinitiate. If they expect this Na'Vi, they'll see Yatoro. That'll be enough. Force Team Spirit back a little bit.
It's safe for the moment.
Oh,
I mean,
what a good game.
the fights have just been going non-stop, but they've got to split at the end of that collapse if they want to re-engage. That's why they're posturing so aggressively to Na'Vi. And once that roll is done, your options are limited. Maybe they could try again. Roll is back up. It's just a matter of finding an angle. Even a support kill at this point can do a lot for you.
PMA's going to try for at least Maposhka. Maposhka's going to make life as hard as possible. The double jet teammate's coming. They're not going to the high ground here. Maposhka, still alive. They'll lift him up and take him down, but here comes the cavalry now. Lara's there to trade with Zayat. fighting spirit.
Maybe not. Again, if you disconnect this Husker from that Dazzle, there's just no durability at this point just yet. Poor Niku.
Radiant's bottom tower
Impact he's
is
having
under
on this
attack.
Husker is just not there. Again, they did a great job on Team Spirit to mitigate that with his Wind Ranger pick, not crushing the lane, slowing down that timing. And then because the side lane, it went relatively well for Juice, not too well
Dire's middle
for PMA.
tower is under
Just
attack.
didn't have time to connect with the vision game coming out now from Team Spirit. Some nice wards watching that top jungle, some wards watching right beside that mid tier 2. They have a big area to play and kind of invade and prevent Na'Vi from getting that build up. For Na'Vi now, where do you go from here? It's an NKD build up now for Got the Juice, trying to pierce through that evasion of the Radiance.
Radiant
They do have some
offlane.
utility up as well. Besides having a 4
If they want to run into him. Nice BKB up. Global South committed. PMA gonna have to find a way out, and he will do so. Good job, however. Think to find 10k advantage now for Team Spirit. Na'Vi, it's starting to feel like they're running out of opportunity in the game. Their workmates here behind Yatoro, but everyone else is just suffering so much. PMA up is PMA, don't try for the wrong TP. He'll get there. It's not pretty, but it works.
Yeah, if it gets you out, it gets you out. Just not having to roll again for a minute 10. It's a big window for the side of Team Spirit. That's their main disruptive team fight spell right now on the side of Na'Vi. Nothing to be worried about Team Spirit. They see anyone on the map, it's a freebie.
And Zayat looks like a pretty free kill. We'll get it. Rue will take it on his own. Mapochka just there for a free in. Why not?
Dire's top tower
And
is
up
under
already.
attack.
That's without your free
Radiant
shard.
are scanning.
You get lucky in the next shard. Gonna be a happy boy with 3 int every kill. Collapse.
But collapse more than happy. Just primal split. Oh, you force the usage of the primal split, though. I really don't believe collapse cares at all.
No, not even necessary. Again, that follow-up fight we saw on mid after that fight near the triangle, they didn't have split. It didn't even matter. Just a little bit of a bonus now. Now they can just kind of freely siege with these Brewlings. All that damage coming in, not really much to stop it. They just forced to surrender
Dire's
tier 2
middle
for
tower
free.
is under attack.
Game's just getting harder and harder. Again, it feels like that initial spike has been missed, and you're just kind of playing catch-up at this point. And look at the net worth difference. Niku right behind Laurel, 2k behind on that Husker at this point. PMA bottom net worth 4. These timings are just not panning out in the way you want to. We haven't seen that combination of Dazzle Husker be impactful yet. You always
PMA, he gets rolling. No, he doesn't. It was just the roll-up. He's down. Executed by Lars.
That's not right.
That'll allow Team Spirit the easy path into the Roshan pit. He absolutely no contest.
Just what I was waiting for.
Play that aggression that we were maybe expecting with a Husker Dazzle, and it's Team Spirit just stepping on the gas full speed. No concerns. Secondary life up for Yatoro. A little bit of a smoke across the map. Very good lines drawn to the position of Na'Vi. And for Na'Vi, man, again, I'm not sure. You got the MPV up and got the juice. It just doesn't feel like it's enough.
Zayat, blink away. Chases on from Lal. He'll go the wrong way, but Rue will go the correct way.
Radiant's bottom
Find the
tower
Rubik,
is under
however.
attack.
He will escape out of this bottom lane. Spirit though just not relenting on the hunt. Poor old Na'Vi still looking for an opportunity to try and win out a team fight and maybe force the game back their way a little bit. Spirit, they've been getting plenty of opportunities for fights, that's for sure. We'll give another one here up the top lane, it seems like, but against the primal split and all the other abilities we've got here on Team Spirit, probably not too advised. Try and defend the tier 2s.
You just have to surrender it at this point for Na'Vi. Get some space on the map while you can. They're playing across the river once more. Get that build-up you'd want. Crystal is coming out. Or got the juice in short order, still a little bit more to go. The high ground siege, though, surely you've got to do something here. This can't go for free.
I'm gonna do something, but again, if you lose this next game fight, you don't have buybacks. This could just be GG. Team Spirit want to keep going. Navi might be forced into a very awkward high ground game. Again, without the buybacks, it'd be a very awkward fight. Perhaps use the range on this down. Do get the harpoon out into the hurricane like this. So a nice balance landing on two. Trying to play the racks being taken, but they cannot. Team Spirit, get a free racks for this problem. Aegis still intact for 3 minutes. No stress. And they've got all that gold up. They can go again.
They didn't even have to use anything for that kind of siege. Again, you're just seeing a lack of options here for Navi. I don't know, maybe you just try to go all in with PMA, look for a backline, Rolling Thunder play, maybe hope that Niku can kind of connect that life break, get a kill on one, try to reset, try to pull back unless they're kind of splintered here on Spirit. Easier said than done. Spirit for their part also going around for the smoke. And they only have one outer tower left to worry about. Maybe take care of the tier 2, correct that bot lane a little bit. For the siege, you have a ton of time. That age is still 2.5 minutes. Don't necessarily have to be rushing things here. And again, the pressure's on Na'Vi. Can get things done. Got the juice. Will sneak away a Tormentor at the very least. Get a free shard on right in front of the bouncer. No buyback. Na'Vi, salvage this game. Lol does get caught by the Rolling Thunder, but they can't see him. The Global Sun's full off, it's just not going to allow it. Literally out of juice here, I think. John, GG is called. Again, like there was an idea again from Na'Vi. We saw this in game 1. They tried to be a little bit cheeky with the R4. They get that dazzle early.